This morning's guest wanted to climb Mount Everest, but in March of 2000, when he climbed the steps of the Myrtle Beach train depot, he reached a higher peak. Meet him, coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach train depot right here in the heart of Myrtle Beach. We're focused on its preservation, and we're visiting with the man himself, Jack Thompson. Good morning, Jack.
Hey, Greg.
And it is not just you. It is a gigantic community support wrapping around the preservation of the train depot. But surely you were instrumental right there in the beginning, getting the ball rolling.
Well, thank you, but certainly not me. You know, we did have a committee, the all-aboard committee, number 14 dedicated citizens who felt the need to preserve and save the depot, and to create a community gathering place.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And I'm delighted to say that Myrtle Beach Train Depot is a flagship.
It really is.
Destination in downtown Myrtle Beach.
Right.
And I trust that the Downtown Redevelopment Board and the city will continue to redevelop Myrtle Beach centered around the train depot.
Oh, I think so, very definitely. I attended or came over this way for an event recently that the Miracle League had, a fundraiser they had. So many folks are utilizing this for corporate events and for functions. It is truly becoming the place to be for lots of area businesses and nonprofit groups, and great rate opportunities. I couldn't believe those prices.
Well, it's a vision that has absolutely come true. It is a favorite place for most of the civic clubs, a wonderful place for family reunions. Children are just amazed. Children love history, and I love to see the family reunions and see the little kids running back and forth, and for future generations.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. And speaking of that, Jack, give viewers a sense of the earlier days of course, obviously the train depot, its beginnings, and then, of course, its reincarnation back in, was it 99, 2000, when you got involved to help make sure it was going to be around? Give viewers a little history on the train depot.
Well, of course, the train depot here, the Myrtle Beach Train Depot, was the galvanizing magnet that brought people to Myrtle Beach in the early 1900s, and brought all of the building materials that built the piers, the old guest houses, the gravel that paved the roads, all the material that built the Myrtle Beach Air Force Base, and a lot of the young men who went off to war back in the 40s left Myrtle Beach on the train, and a lot of them returned on the train. So it's been the economic engine that built Myrtle Beach back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And until modern transportation sort of led to its closure. But the building, the structure is still sound. It's endured numerous hurricanes, and I don't think ever lost a shingle. But in putting a cosmetic face back on the depot, we did recover the roof with a new, sturdier, stronger shingle, but we actually laid a new roof down on top of the old roof. So it's all still here, as well as this nice new floor.
This beautiful floor, it is tremendous.
The floor has been put down over the top of the old floor that was, this room actually was the freight room. And so the floor that was here took a pretty good beating from a lot of the freight and the material that came through here. So we put a new face on it and dressed it up, and we cannot be happier with the way it is, and the management, and the popularity.
Oh yeah, the city of Myrtle Beach is really wrapped around. Of course, they ultimately bought the land, bought the train depot.
Yes, the depot was set for demolition, and the city council saw fit to purchase the depot at the urging of members of the All Aboard Committee to refurbish it for historical significance. We're proud to have established it on the National Register of Historic Places.
Absolutely, which took a little, quite a bit of effort there to make that happen.
Yes, and as a way to generate funds to continue supporting the operation of the depot, we created a Walk of History. The walkways, the brick walkways that
all around
surround the parking lot, paved with bricks and pavers, with friends and relatives and citizens who wanted to memorialize a loved one or family members. And I might add that that walkway is about 3/4 full.
Complete.
But the bricks and pavers are still available.
Great.
I would like to urge all members of the community who would like to honor a loved one or a family member to contact City Hall, and the bricks are $50.
Good.
The 12 by 12 paver, room for family members, is $125.
Is that all? Wow, what a great deal.
And those are in that walkway in perpetuity.
Yes, yes.
And I like to say, especially to the real estate community, that you can buy a piece of real estate in the heart of Myrtle Beach for $50.
I love it. I love it. Even today, way back in the early days, I'm sure that was viable. But even today, to have a piece of real estate right here, and of course to support the preservation, continued preservation. There's still some more things to do. It was great early this morning before we started filming, walking around, getting a sense of the lobby area there. And as you said, folks need to call the city of Myrtle Beach if they like to come in, set up an appointment to possibly even look at renting the space. It's so reasonable. Richard Kirby mentioned that earlier before we began filming, but the opportunity. And if someone wanted to call you, Jack, to learn more about the history there and what prompted you to actually step out there and stop that bulldozer and get involved, if someone wanted to call you and learn more about you and all the so many activities you're involved, what's the best way to reach you?
You can reach me at my studio, 626-3194.
Okay, great.
And I'm always ready.
Yeah.
I have to preface that by saying I'm not always available because I am busy out trying to record the history.
Oh, yeah.
The continuing history and growth of Myrtle Beach and the Grand Strand, as well as Horry County. And but I'm always eager and anxious to talk to anyone about the history and growth of the area. And
I can't imagine anyone who has a better sense of that for your more than, I hate to say more than 5 decades here, Jack, but the reality, you're more than 5 decades here of photographing the area, being involved in the unofficial historian of the area. Our mutual friend, your close Hilda Carter, and I had dinner recently at the Melting Pot, and to see all over that place, all over, including the men's room. I mean, just Jack Thompson photos all over that place was tremendous. Going into area banks, seeing Jack Thompson everywhere, and of course I know that signature, when I see it there, which is such a special one.
I might mention, take this point to mention that someone once said, "I can't read that signature." And I said, "Well, you're not supposed to read it, you're just supposed to recognize it."
Absolutely. Good words. Well, that is recognized, and of course that's recognized on a copy of your book, your special bound book there, that I think you still have some copies for sale.
Yes, I do.
If someone calls you at the 626-3194 number, as well as the special one you did for Coastal Federal, highlighting their 50th anniversary, as well as some great pieces you've done of My Beautiful Baby Girl that are adorned all over the house. But Jack, obviously so much here. Share with viewers a little bit about the train depot leading up to today, and what, as you said, City Council, they were on the moving forward and actually demolishing the building?
Well, you know, it has become a well-written story about that afternoon that I was present when the Ocean Forest Hotel was demolished.
Right.
With tears in my eyes, and of course with the camera ready, standing on a sand dune.
Right.
And I really did believe that someone would pull up at the last minute and say, hold on, you're not going to tear this building down. It's a monument to history. And not only Myrtle Beach, but South Carolina.
Right, right.
And at the last moment, no one did. And so on May the, if I may say so, March the 20th, 2000, I left my studio about 4 o'clock to go to the post office, and driving along, I saw the bulldozers. And immediately I saw visions of the ocean forest coming down. So I jumped the curb in the car and pulled up between the bulldozers and got up on the porch, and I said, you're not tearing this building down. Fortunately, they contacted the owner in Florence, and he allowed 24 hours. And if I may ramble and go forward with the story.
Please, absolutely.
That was on a Tuesday, and the council was going to meet that evening. And so I went to City Hall. I went to the council meeting, walked up front, grabbed the microphone, and I think the council members thought maybe Jack had been to happy hour.
Right, had lost his mind. It was totally out of it. Absolutely.
So and I think what I said was an inspiration. I still marvel at the words because I don't believe they were mine. Because I think all of us are put here for purpose by fate. So I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here at the midnight hour. The bulldozers have cranked up, spewing black smoke, crawling toward the depot to demolish it. And for past and future generations, we can't let that happen. It's a diamond in the rough. It's a jewel in our midst. Surely, with all your collective wisdom, you'll find a way to save it. And with that, they looked at each other and said, could we take a recess? They took a 5-minute recess, came back, and Mayor Mark McBride said, we'll save that depot if you will raise the money to restore it. I loosened my tie and said, does that pay anything? Of course, it was a volunteer effort.
Right,
and
sure.
With that, formed the all-aboard committee.
Yes.
And we set out to raise the money to restore it.
Right.
The city contracted with an excellent contractor who did a wonderful job.
Oh, yeah.
When we, shortly before cutting the ribbon, the all-aboard committee turned over to the city $648,000.
Wow, Jack. I don't think I knew you'd raise that much. That's tremendous.
In the beginning, I think they asked us to raise $385,000.
Right.
But with the ongoing process, as costs do increase,
Sure.
The final cost worked out about $640,000. So the extra money was used to put in the fans and the extra lighting.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And hopefully the revenue gained from the Walk of History
Sure.
is continuing to help pay the light bill.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the rental, I might add, of course, is very reasonable.
It is.
I think nonprofits and some charity organizations may get an excellent break on utilizing the facility.
Right.
I think there is a limitation on the facility being rented for not more than 2 or 3 days at a time or weekend. But the The general public can rent the depot for $15 an hour.
Incredible. Yeah, for city residents. That's right.
Corporate people, I believe, is $20.
It's something very reasonable in the $20 range,
and,
right?
So it is a very popular. I think the schedule is fairly well booked up.
It is,
on
yes.
weekends.
Richard Kirby spoke about that they are having gangbuster interest, which is wonderful. And it's truly a testament to so much of those efforts. That's a powerful story, Jack. You jumping the curb to do what you would hoped that somebody would do for the Ocean Forest Hotel way back then when you were standing out there with your camera preparing to snap some shots, praying that you wouldn't have to snap any except somebody stopping the demolition there. Fortunately.
Well, you know, again, it just shows, and I like to tell a lot of young people, it shows that one person can make a difference.
Yeah.
By the actions they take.
Right.
And of course, there are always consequences to the actions we take, but more than not, the consequences of standing up and taking an action lead to a good outcome.
Right, absolutely. We'll give viewers a little sense. It's difficult to zoom right in there on the before and after, but surely you've got a good sense. The top picture of the before with that open area there, which has now been paved down in that bottom, the present shot there, but back in August of 2000, since it was March of 2000 when you stopped the bulldozer, and your office, of course, is close by as well, so it was absolutely opportune that you were driving on over to the post office. It was a perfect route.
I'm located on Broadway, just around the corner.
Right. Very close by. Very close by. You can get a good shot of some little closer in shot of the train depot there.
The morning that we took over the property, that was the depot. I would like to say that when we first came upon the property, we asked for volunteers. And I would like to say that city staff,
right,
Tom Leaf,
right,
members of council,
all
turned out on a Saturday morning with their work clothes and their gloves on.
Really? Great.
And went about pulling shrubbery and sweeping up and hauling trash away. So
getting
the
stuff
city,
out of here. They
really pitched in and contributed a lot to cleaning up the depot.
This is a great example again. When you take a look at it before and after, this is such a tremendous before shot.
Yes.
And to think how beautiful it is now. It truly is. And there aren't many examples. You, of course, showed me as we were walking around earlier on the jacket of Mr. Bobo, I believe, who was the, share with viewers a little bit about what they'll see if they come by to visit, if they call the city of Myrtle Beach, say I want to come by and take a look at the train depot, or if they're coming here for a function, what are they going to see when they walk in the front door, Jack?
Well, the lobby, of course, is going to be a historical gallery.
Great.
It'll be a gallery of photographs, memorabilia. We even have a time capsule.
Oh, yeah.
That the All-Board Committee has put down.
2054, yeah.
And to be opened in 50 years.
Right.
And a number of us have pledged to be here for the opening.
Good, yes.
Jim Bobo was the engineer on the train for 50 years.
Wow.
He drove the train from Chadbourn to Myrtle Beach, back and forth, twice a day for 50 years.
Wow.
His family has donated his engineer's jacket.
Right.
And it is showcased.
Looks wonderful out there.
In the lobby with a photograph of him.
Right.
And Mr. Nave, who was the manager of the depot for a long time, there's a photograph there in a beautiful case, along with one of the original engineers who actually was part of the building committee that actually built the old depot. We have a portrait of him on display.
Great, it is.
And it's just a wonderful trip down memory lane. I will mention that is a work in progress, the gallery.
The lobby area, the gallery, as you said.
And we will have another ribbon cutting in a couple of months, when that gallery is complete, to invite the public back in for a tour of that historical gallery.
Well, I remember, as you say, as the All Aboard Committee was going strong, raising the dollars, as you were pushing what originally was $350,000 and turned into $650,000. I mean, those goals increased substantially over that time. But I remember folks pushing the pavers, just making outright donations. People who'd be interested in preserving that history. And the All Aboard Committee, there's still information about them and the efforts there and what the City Council did to make it happen online at citymyrtlebeach.com. If they search for Train Depot or All Aboard Committee, they'd see that information. And some of the folks who worked with you arm in arm to help make that happen out there, of course, with you at the ribbon cutting, you know, shoveling the dirt there to say, well, this is going to happen. We've worked hard to make it happen, and it's for everyone's future, not just a select few, but everyone. Look at the bricks out there. It's tremendous to see the names. It's a great compendium of lots of Myrtle Beach folks or people generally, and companies and others generally interested in Myrtle Beach's future. It's gorgeous out there, Jack.
People have really rallied around the depot and in preserving the history, and are grateful that the history and the depot was saved.
Oh, yeah.
And so many things are disappearing seemingly on a daily basis. Buildings are disappearing, and you know, people ride by a certain building for years and years, and all of a sudden there's a vacant lot, and then it comes to mind, by the way, what was there? You know, how soon we forget.
Right.
But now in the lobby is a citation and an award from the South Carolina Department of Archives and History.
Is that right? Yeah.
That designated that this project was won the best of the state.
Is that right?
Historical restoration.
I didn't notice that walking
best
through.
Of the state.
So folks on that jacket hanging up in there, and the great bench over there that I think you said, but best in the state.
Best in the state for historical renovation.
Tremendous.
And, we were honored by the Horry County Architectural Review Board with a citation.
I saw something from Joel Carter in there. Yes.
That's right. And the Horry County Council, a resolution from the Horry County Council. So the little depot has earned its stripes.
We just got a couple of minutes, Jack, and for you who are so interested directly and indirectly chronicling the area, I mean, had you ever imagined 50 years ago when you were at Skips, or even earlier, I mean, had you ever imagined that you'd be here sitting in the train depot, or even having such a successful photography business and your fingers in so many things in the Myrtle Beach area, as well as having kicked off the Myrtle Beach Herald back in '94 with Debbie back then when she kicked off the paper. Thank you for wearing your Herald shirt today, even covered by this blue jacket and that handsome pen. Yes.
There.
Thank you again, and of course for doing so many amazing photography pieces in the Herald over the years and teaching all of the aspiring photographers so much. Did you ever imagine?
Well, no, I would have never imagined. I had dreams of being a National Geographic photographer.
Right.
And sending pictures back from Mount Everest and the Brazilian jungle and going down the Amazon and so forth and so forth. I still dream of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Having not been there yet, but no, I did not imagine that. And people do comment, Jack, my goodness, you've got pictures back through the years, you got pictures of everything. You must be a genius. I finally realized, and I say, you know, when I was out shooting all those pictures, I was looking over my shoulder because I thought everybody was doing it.
Right.
And now it turns out that it seems like I was the only one doing it.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people out taking pictures, but those pictures obviously have wound up in shoeboxes and scrapbooks.
Sure.
And I'm just so proud. I feel like I'm 6 feet tall.
Or 6'5", that's right. You've got that mini museum next door right there in your facility, Jack. You've got a beautiful, here on Broadway, if a viewer wanted to come by and see you, they could essentially kill two birds. Coming in from the PD, they come by to visit the train depot, but right here on Broadway, your address on Broadway.
915 Broadway, between 9th and 10th Avenue. And on Kings Highway at 9th Avenue is the wonderful Methodist church, the big red brick church. But if you come around behind the church on Broadway, you're right at my studio.
Jack Thompson Studios, absolutely. Close to Herald Office Supply.
Next to Herald
You're right
Office
next
Supply.
to the Herald twice over. I love it. Jack, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Entirely my pleasure.
No, not at all. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Jack Thompson coming up next. You got to come down here. You got to visit the Myrtle Beach Train Depot. You'd get in here and see some of these old postcard shots of the Atlantic Coastline Depot, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. But the great verbiage on there is 45 minutes from Conway. Think about modern transportation, how it's changed things so dramatically. You can get on 22 coming in from Conway and be here in 15 minutes. Think about how things have changed. But life hasn't entirely changed. There was still a desire to preserve the train depot, to remember old. Jack's got great stories. You're going to have to give him a call, 626-3194, 626-3194. Ask him about the barbell story. He's got a great barbell story when he was a bodybuilder picking up some barbells here at the train depot, or we'll have to get him on another time to share that. Think about changes over the years, but also think back to 2000 when Jack made that effort to stop the bulldozer, was given 24 hours, stepped in there to city council, and then our leaders of this city, the city of Myrtle Beach, back in 2000, making a commitment to buy this land, and then to turn to folks like Jack and so many other community servants to make a difference, to raise the funds to preserve this place. Give the city of Myrtle Beach a call, or give Jack a call. Go online to citymyrtlebeach.com. Check out the train depot. You can rent it. You can get out here. You can have tremendous functions for you and your family or your business or other nonprofit organization. Learn more about the Myrtle Beach Train Depot.